Hello, welcome to the first episode of Contested Foul Pod. Our first guest is Caleb Moran. A little intro background on Caleb. He grew up in Arlington, Virginia, where he played for HB Woodlawn in middle and high school, and then you also played YCCs for a couple teams, which we'll talk about. And then you went on to play at Brown, where you won a national championship, which don't worry, we're also going to talk about that. I got a lot of questions. And you captained your junior and senior year, if I'm correct. And then now you are in Chicago, which is awesome because that's where I am. And you've been playing club here the last 2 summers. So welcome. I really wanted to interview you first because, we played Frisbee together in Arlington and now we're both in Chicago. So I thought you'd be a great person.
Thank you for having me, Alia. I'm excited to be here. It should be a fun time.
Yeah, me too. Okay, well, the first thing I wanted to start with, kind of just going to go through it chronologically, is like Youth Ultimate in Arlington, which is obviously huge. I just really love hearing like why people started playing Ultimate and like give me all the specifics if you can remember.
Cool. So, yeah, Ellie and I, for context, went to the same middle and high school, just called HB Woodlawn. It's like an alternative public magnet school. It's got some Quaker vibes, some Montessori vibes. Anyways, important thing to know about the school is there's no sports at HB Woodlawn except for Ultimate Frisbee. If you want to play basketball, you want to run cross country, you got to go to a different school. But if you want to play Frisbee, you can stay at HB and play for HB. And so when I got into HB, just through a lottery in 6th grade, I was like, oh, I got to learn Frisbee. It's what all the kids do at HB. I want to fit in. And so the summer before middle school started, I went to an Ultimate Frisbee camp called Capital Ultimate Camps, which is in Arlington, has been owned and ran by local Arlington teachers who are also coaches for many years now. In college, Ellie and I were both camp counselors for this camp, which was fun. A little full circle moment. Anyways, I went to Capital Ultimate Camps, didn't know anything about Frisbee, didn't own a Frisbee before then. Had a mediocre experience, was intimidated by people who knew how to play Frisbee, and was sad that I couldn't throw a flick right away. But didn't give up, kept playing all of middle school. I felt like middle school Frisbee was like glorified after school daycare.
Yeah,
I don't think we got like very good at Frisbee after you reach a certain plateau of like knowing the rules and mediocre understanding of how to throw.
Yep.
But it was fun. It was a good time, and I kept doing it into high school, where I was more motivated. I was doing some workouts, and trying to get faster. We have a JV and a varsity team. Played JV my first year. There's your cat.
Sorry, that's my cat.
That was fun. And then my 10th grade year, moved up to varsity, which was exciting. Won the Most Improved award.
Ooh.
And then my junior and senior years of high school was captain. Junior year, we were very good. The grade above us on the boys team was stacked. Lots of premier talents.
Yep.
And we would have gone to nationals, I believe, had there not been COVID.
Oh,
Missed
yeah.
opportunity.
Okay, awesome. You jumped the gun a little on some of my questions, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I didn't know that you knew. I went to HB and I didn't know Frisbee was a thing, but you knew the summer before, so you had a little bit of a head start, which is nice.
Yeah, I had friends from elementary school who had older siblings at HB, so that was the inside scoop.
That makes sense. Okay, well, when did you decide? Were you a handler right away? I mean, I know in middle school it's like, that's not really a thing. But once you got to high school, were you always a handler?
I was always a handler. I've never been fast, so that makes it easier on one side, and I've always been good at throwing. I've put a lot of time into my throwing bag and tossed in the yard. My brother, my dad, hundreds of hours, so got those reps in, feel good at my throws for sure. And so, yeah, I've been handling kind of for the whole time.
Yeah, that's pretty unique, I feel like, for Frisbee people, especially when you start young. Usually they kind of just throw you into a cutter until they can see you can handle or you need to handle. That's like what happened to me.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is like a unique thing about growing up in like a Frisbee hotbed like Arlington, where there just like are a ton of kids doing it that you can specialize a little bit earlier.
Yeah, definitely if you want to. Well, I wanted to talk about high school more now. So I wrote down 3 teams I could remember you played for in high school, which was HB, obviously, Foggy Bottom. Did you play for them 2021?
I played for them, the summer after we graduated from high school.
Okay. And then you also played for the Maryland team.
Maryland Blackout.
Blackout. Okay, I was about to say Black Wave.
Shout out to my
Blackout.
Maryland peeps.
I know, I remember that. So I was wondering, what different skills did each of these teams teach you, if you can remember, and like which ones? I mean, obviously, I'm gonna guess HB was like the biggest factor in your growth, but like, do you remember any specifics from any of those teams?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like with HB, like first just like being on a bought-in team environment, like that was the first time I'd played on a team that had plays and had expectations and had workouts where people really expected you to get better for the course of the season, and you wanted to win games against other schools really badly. So that was just like learning sportsmanship, learning competition, kind of those more of this meta skills to the game.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where I started growing those, was in high school with HB. And then also just like beginning to understand strategy. Middle school, you're running around in a circle like chicken with your head cut off. You start running vert stack. I remember going to a varsity practice while I was still in ninth grade, just like as like a fun thing to let us do. And we were talking about reset positioning, and if you were standing only 5 degrees north of the handler as the dump, then the coach would yell at you.
Okay.
I was like, geez, there's like such a level of expectation and precision that I had not experienced before.
Yeah.
Now I've really bought into that kind of attitude later on in my career.
Okay. Yeah, our freshman year at HB was like crazy because
the senior class was stacked.
The varsity teams, yeah, were definitely stacked. Okay, what about Blackout was your first YCC team, right?
Yeah. So that was summer after 10th grade. I was 2 weeks too old for the U17 division. Tragically, I blame my parents, and I got cut from swing vote. And then my friend, who had found out about Maryland Blackout, which is the year I played for them, was their first year ever. They had just started, like loosely based out of Baltimore, practiced somewhere south of Baltimore, and they had just started a team. They were taking out of anyone, and so I drove up to Baltimore twice a week for most of the summer. Well, really, my dad did all the driving. I didn't have to drive yet. Shout out to Dad.
Yeah.
And that team was fun. I met a lot of people who I would otherwise not have met.
Mm-hmm.
And we did not do very well.
That was his first year.
We barely had enough women to play the games at the tournament.
Oh, no.
And that was definitely a weak point. And also our matching players were not good either for the most part. But we barely had enough women to play at all. But we did break seed.
Okay.
We were seeded dead last going in, and we won our most losers bracket consolation game.
Well, you'll be happy to know there's still a team because I saw them while coaching this year.
Let's go! Shout out.
A couple of them.
The coaches were fun. It was a very friendly team.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of losing.
That's okay. It was fun. Okay.
But it was fun. And Foggy was cool. Foggy is something I had aspired to be on for my entire Frisbee career.
Yeah, it's iconic.
It's like a huge status symbol in the DC sports scene.
Oh, for sure.
The jerseys have been basically the same year by year. They have all the swagger to them.
Yep. I got
Got it on. I think our freshman year of high school, like the summer after they won nationals.
Yeah.
Like 2018, right. Probably.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it was like AJ Merriman and Jock's year.
Yeah, okay, Swing Vote was earlier, like 2015.
Yeah, Swing Vote was like 2015, 2016, 2014 era, like Joe Freund, Ella Young's time. Yeah. Anyway, so Foggy had won at a very high level, has a lot of prestige, and so I always wanted to be a part of that team. Junior year, I was trying out. COVID shut it all down.
Yeah.
Not sure I would have made it, honestly, but would have been competitive. And then, senior year, YCC's barely even happened.
Yeah.
But I was on the team. It was really fun. It meant a lot for me to be able to wear that jersey and kind of represent the DC area on the national stage.
For sure.
We practiced very hard. I think I grew a lot. Coach Clem is a really good coach, and he demands a lot of his players. But
Clem the WNL coach, or was he the Wilson coach?
Yeah, WNL coach, and he's coaching at UVA now.
Oh, I gotta tell Ben that. Ben talks about Clem all the time. He definitely really liked him as a coach.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Thinks he was a interesting guy too. Okay, awesome. Do you have a favorite out of those three?
I think HP was definitely the most important to me. I mean, to be a captain for that was also really cool. Just growing some of my leadership abilities, especially senior year. when like I was kind of like the only person running the show for the first half of the year. We were like trying to play illegally during the pandemic,
Yeah.
and I was like finding random parks and organizing practices.
Remember when that lady yelled at us?
I do remember that video.
Yep.
I have nightmares about this still. She didn't
Yeah,
have a permit. What was I supposed to do? She made up a permit.
she did not like that
Messed
we were
up.
practicing. That was I just remembered that. That was funny. Do you have any players you can remember during your youth that you think really inspired you? Maybe like older players or even players that you played with a lot that I don't know. Yeah, inspired you, taught you a lot.
Definitely. I'm thinking in the grade above me, Aiden Travers was always like the best thrower in
Okay.
the area, and like someone who I always wanted to model my game after. Like he didn't have crazy athleticism. He was a few inches shorter than me, but he was just like a superpower out there because he could hit anywhere on the field with his throwing bag, and that was really
Yep.
impressive to me.
Definitely.
Trying to think who else. I mean, like kind of the senior class as a whole when we were freshmen was just like they were super talented. There was a ton of them. They were all really
Yeah,
good friends.
12 of them.
That
Yeah.
was really cool to see. From like a work ethic perspective, Andrew London, just like a huge grinder. Chris Lopez in that same boat are just like they will work so hard. They'll run as hard as they can the whole point and just tire you out, and then they'll win. And that was just like a really impressive thing to play against.
Yeah. Yeah. There are definitely some great upperclassmen that we could look up to on both sides of growing in the
Definitely.
boys team. So you captained senior year, which is COVID. Do you remember anything? Was that your first time captaining a team?
I had captained my junior year for HB, but
Oh,
that
okay.
was kind of fake.
Yeah.
Like I didn't become captain until like late November.
Okay.
Yeah, I like organized winter workouts. We had like, 2 months of practices. I'm not sure we might have gone to like one tournament before COVID. Like maybe I'm not sure we even made it to Queen City at that point. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I feel like I did not really do much. I was just like kind of an understudy for I think it was Chris and Andrew who were
Okay.
running the show mostly.
Yeah.
I was kind of just like there hanging out. So yeah, it felt like senior year was my first real time captaining.
Yeah. Do you have anything that really sticks out to you from captaining the first time?
Yeah, it was a little bit terrifying, especially because our coach Jay Boyle, shout out to Jay Boyle,
Jay Boyle.
fun guy,
Yep.
mediocre coach, but
That's
that's
okay.
on the record. But
Okay.
he
I can
like,
cut it
couldn't
out
really
both.
engage with us because it was COVID and we weren't
Yeah.
supposed to be meeting, and so a lot of the practice planning responsibilities that would normally the coach would have helped with fell upon me, and so I had to like in my head figure out a practice plan as I was like driving to practice. So I was in math class,
Yeah.
and so
True.
that was like I feel like I was kind of in the deep end right away, especially with
Well,
like I was scared someone was gonna get COVID and sue us. I was scared
Yeah.
people weren't gonna come because it was COVID, and the numbers were always in question. So it was definitely a trial by fire, but I got much better at just like being assertive, sticking to a plan, knowing when to be flexible and when you have to kind of hold the line to make sure people can't walk all over you.
Yeah. Okay. Those are all great lessons. Okay. Well, now I want to move on to college. So there's a ton to talk about college ultimate 'cause you went to Brown.
Definitely.
First thing I remembered when I was writing down questions for this is I think last summer you told me the best moment of your entire life was winning college nationals, and I just want to ask, is that still true? And can you go into the specifics of like the actual win? Like, how was that?
Definitely. We're skipping ahead to the good parts. That's fun.
Yeah.
I maintain that winning the national championship is still the greatest moment of my entire life and the peak happiness I've experienced thus far. Maybe my wedding or the birth of my child will be a greater jubilation, but to this point,
Maybe.
at 23 years old, that's peak.
Definitely. That makes sense. Well, I was going to say, is there anything that. So you guys went to nationals freshman and sophomore year as
And
well.
junior year, yeah.
Okay. And junior year, which is when you won.
Yeah.
But what do you think really went into that junior year team that put you guys on like the track to win? Like, was it your coaches? Was it your players? Did you have a great rookie class? Anything like that?
Definitely. So I'll give a little backstory that for your freshman year, we had one of the greatest rosters ever assembled in college ultimate. It was the last year of John Randolph at Brown.
Okay.
He won the Callahan, it was kind of a breakout year for Jock and Leo, taking over as the next guard. And we had gone undefeated up until the national championship game, where we got pretty thoroughly thumped by UNC.
Dang.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
And then sophomore year, we were solid. We lost John, who was a big part of the team, but kind of still ran everything through Jock and Leo. And we did very well at nationals until we lost on Universe in quarters to UNC.
Oh, UNC double.
Freaking UNC.
That sucks.
I do maintain that if we had beat UNC in that game, we would have beat anyone else the rest of the tournament. We'd have won.
Oh, okay.
Like we were really firing on all cylinders, and they were a very talented team.
Yeah.
At that point, like, I'm not like saying we didn't like get the win stolen from us or anything. Like they won fair and square, but we were very close to winning that game. Would have won it all, I think. And so we graduated like very few players going into my junior year, so that kind of eased of transition was helpful. We added 2 new coaches. So Jake Smart has been the coach at Brown since like 2017. He's a Wisconsin alum from like their glory days in like 2010 era. Boston guy, really brilliant mind. He's the best coach I've ever had, one of the best coaches in the world.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
And just like has a really good approach to, gamesmanship, competition, building team culture. How do you, run practices in a way that translates into game results?
Okay, that's good.
And we could talk more about Jake and the Brown coaching philosophy later if that comes up.
Okay,
but anyways,
I have coaching on here.
Nice. I have a lot of good things to say about Jake. I think he's an interesting
We'll get to that.
story.
Definitely.
Anyways, it was Jake. My whole time, my freshman year, we had like 2 assistant coaches who were recent alums. They like didn't really do anything of use, to be honest. Sophomore year, Jake alone, and then going in to junior year, we took on 2 new assistant coaches. The first, Nate Taylor, had been the head coach of the Brown women's B team, the Cosmic Rays. They fired him because they were not aligned on competitive philosophy.
Okay, I mean,
essentially he wanted like more buy-in
for the B team.
The team was looking to be their no-cut B team. They want to have fun.
Yeah.
So he got fired from them and went to join us, which is kind of a funny transition.
Sure, why not?
But he's a really great guy, like the most like empathetic people I've ever met. Just like really strong connector with everyone. Is aligned with Jake on a lot of his like practice philosophies. They both have like a soccer fan background where it's all about positional play.
Okay, interesting.
And then we also brought in John Stout, who had been the assistant coach or the head coach of the Northwestern B team on men's side. We had played them at regionals the year before and been like, wow, this team is the best zone I've seen all year, and they're a B team. And
okay, did you say Northeastern?
Yeah, Northeastern.
Okay.
Sorry, did I say Northwestern?
Oh, I think you did, but then I did
mean Northeastern. Yes.
Okay, it's okay. We're in Chicago now, so.
That's true. Okay. Switched up. Yes, Northeastern's B team, and it was like, wow, this team is the best dev team in the country, maybe. And he was part of the reason for that success, and so he wanted to move up in the world, and so he came to us, and brought a lot of grit, and was definitely like one of the leaders of grinding, scouting other teams, and coming up with new schemes.
Oh.
And so adding those 2, great minds to the brain trust was also super integral, and just like getting new things figured out, and then having a lot of continuity, letting our top 4 guys, which was Jock and Leo, and then Cal Nightingale and Elliot Rosenberg, just kind of like get a ton of touches, just like keep building that chemistry. They're like super close friends, lived together all of college.
Okay, perfect.
And so by the end of that championship run, they had practiced playing small ball together a million times, and so it was a very polished machine.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I'm remembering now at nationals that year, I don't know if there was some drama because you guys got in a little bit of trouble, and I remember I thought it was so interesting, this like punishment that each of the captains had to sit out one game. I was like, who's making these rules? But maybe I mean, maybe USAU is just like, this is what we're gonna do. Can you speak any more about that?
Yeah, I can say some things about that. Maybe not all the things.
That's okay. That's okay.
We had a player on our team, Emmett Young, great player. He's played on Glory and Dig now.
Oh.
And is just like an excellent handler, defender, very good athlete, a good player overall. Who was like kind of like in and out of being on the team. He wanted to do other things with his time in college. It makes sense. Claps all the time. And in that period of flux where he was not going to tournaments, not really playing with the team, we did not have him on our postseason roster.
Okay.
That was a clerical error from my part as being the captain, and he was not on our roster. And then he came back to the team after sectionals, played with us at regionals, not on our official roster. So he was playing illegally at regionals, which I realized after the tournament when I was trying to register us for nationals. Oh. And so we self-reported to USAU.
Oh, you self-reported?
Which is actually a big reason of why we were only suspended for a single game per captain.
Okay, I didn't know you guys
the penalties for self-reporting are far lower. It's like an encouragement from them to get people to own up.
That's great. I didn't know that. I don't know. I thought somebody was like, he's not on the roster, but
I mean, it's plausible that Vermont or UMass figured it out and also reported, but we did very quickly self-report.
Okay.
And their USAU handed down a punishment that was not that insane. It was first of all, Emmett is not at all suspended. He's not at fault. He can play all the games. The team managers on USAU, who were the three captains, so me, Jock, and Luca Douglas Orsello, were each suspended for one game of our first 3 games at nationals. We could pick the order of our suspensions, but we couldn't, stack them all up into one game and sandbag it.
And then did you guys end up losing any of those games?
I'm trying to think. We lost to UNC, first game of pool play, which I was sitting out of, and then we beat Texas and we beat Alabama Huntsville. And then we did end up losing to Ohio. We lost to Oregon State.
Oh, dang.
On Universe, in a game that was like kind of funny in that if we had lost by one more point, we would have made the bracket as a lower seed, and like who knows if we even would have still won. But because we lost by 1 point, it went to point different to finishing second in our pool and had the path that we had.
Okay, interesting. I'm learning so much. Okay, so I want to talk about your senior year. Senior year, you're also a captain. I'm assuming you probably took on a bigger role?
Yeah, definitely.
Also, I know your team changed a ton, which was probably a little hard for you. Was there anything any challenges you really had to overcome? And I know you got hurt at regionals, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was hurt for the entire fall.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so start with the beginning of the question. Yeah, so we graduated, probably our 5 best players from our national championship team. So obviously, big shoes to fill, guys got to step up. And so as we worked through that, tried to, put our rookies and our younger players into bigger positions to set us up for the future. Some growing pains along the way, didn't win as many games as we would have liked to. We try and, preach that winning's a skill you have to practice, and so we did not really, execute as much on that as we would have liked. But I do think that the younger class, the team did get a ton of valuable reps in high stakes moments throughout the regular season, and especially getting forced to compete in must-win games at sectionals and regionals was super valuable for sure.
Okay, do you think Brown is gonna be back at nationals soon? What do you think about?
For sure, I have no doubt in my mind.
Awesome. Okay, that's good. Okay, awesome. Is there anything else you wanted to say about Brown, or I could move on to club in the Chicago scene next?
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing about Brown is there's like a super bought-in alumni network, which is really valuable for the team.
They had those sponsors. I was so jealous.
Yes, we have alumni sponsors. The alumni routinely donate enough money for the team to be entirely dues-free, which is really cool. To run the season costs $100,000 probably. And the school funds a good portion of that, and the alumni cover the rest, which is really valuable. and puts the team in a great position to succeed and to recruit players of any, socioeconomic background with the promise that they'll be able to play for this really high caliber team without paying a penny out of pocket.
Wow, we had much different college experiences. They did not want to give us any money here, but that's okay. We made the best of it. Well, I was wondering, now you've been in Arlington, you've been in Providence, and now you're in Chicago. Which, I don't know if there's much of a big Frisbee scene in Providence, but obviously there is in the DMV and there is in Chicago. And I know you've only been here for a year now. Which scene have you really enjoyed the most? Do you think maybe, are there differences between, I can even think of some differences between Chicago and DC. Anything you've noticed?
Yeah, good question. I feel like, the Arlington youth scene is so strong, and that's not at all true of Providence. There's no youth play at all. And in Chicago, from what I've seen, is very limited. There's a few high schools. It seems like Evanston's got some stuff going on. The suburbs, Nequa Valley has been good at times, but it does seem like by and large there's not a youth pipeline in Chicago. And so, everyone who's lives here, they played the game in college maybe and learned it there. So it's a little bit of a different scene for sure. When in Arlington, I feel like a lot of the people who were adults that you were played with had played themselves growing up. Yeah.
I think it's so obvious these cities where Frisbee's so big, the youth to college pipeline to club pipeline is just people are staying in that area. They're playing for great teams on every level, and you can tell those club teams are always really good. Those high school teams are always really good, and those college teams are always really good.
100%,
Seattle, or even DC, places like that. Yeah, Chicago. I hope someday our youth scene gets bigger, because I'm always saying that's how we're going to get our club scene. That's how we're going to get our colleges better. That's how we're going to get our club scenes better. So I really hope, and I guess I'm doing what I can coaching, but that we can get more teams in Chicago. So speaking of Chicago, I want to talk a little bit about, I know you haven't tried out for Union yet, but I wanted to mention, I know you are going to try out for Union. And we talked a little already. If you make it, you're gonna play. Awesome.
Yeah, that's the plan. So fingers crossed.
Okay.
All goes well. Tryouts are beginning of March.
Okay. Good luck. Have you been doing any off-season training for that?
Yeah. I've started doing a lot of resistance sprint training with my boy Conrad.
Oh, with Conrad? Yeah, he's great at that.
It's been fun. He's got a fancy home gym set up, and so been working on that. Improve my running form, build strength. Just that's one of my premier off-season goals.
Yeah. Awesome. I also want to talk about, so you played, sorry, again, correct me if I'm wrong. You've only played club for Ramp here in Chicago? Did you play club at all any other summers?
I played on a very fake club team in the summer going into my junior year of college.
Okay.
It was a postseason only team called Boston Mystery Box. It was just a bunch of guys who had played really elite club and were playing only AUDL at that time, and then a bunch of random college kids.
Okay. That sounds fun.
And so it was, Charles Weinberg, who was at that time one of the 30 best players in the men's division, but had focused only on playing Empire, and he wasn't playing Pony or Dig, which he had in the past. And so it was a very funny team. We beat and ended the seasons of teams at sectionals who had been practicing all summer.
Yeah.
And they had tryouts, they had a coach. It felt kind of bad because we were just there to mess around, have a good time, and drink some beers after the game.
Yeah.
Well, not me, I was underage, but the other guys were.
Of course not.
So that was fun. That was weird. I don't really count that, but it was a USAU club team that I was rostered on, so it's a thing.
Sorry, tangent. I don't know if I ever told you this. I also did a similar thing, but summer before sophomore year, Robert O'Reilly put together a very similar, we're just going to go to sectionals and have fun. And we were all high school, and we actually beat a club team. We were all in high school, and they were pissed off.
I mean, rightfully so. That's rough.
They were mad, which of course they were, because we were all high schoolers and we had played this one time together. But that's what that made me think of.
Definitely.
Okay, well, the real question I was talking about that is, so you played Ramp, which is mixed. but before that, you'd only really played men's. I guess blackout, but that's a
Yeah.
while ago. Is there any like, which do you prefer, and what are your, pros and cons of both?
Yeah, definitely. I've been enjoying playing mixed a lot. I think the social vibes are really fun. It's
Yeah,
fun that there's there's people on the team who are dating each other, which,
it's
playing
interesting. Yeah,
women's you get maybe, but in the men's division it doesn't really happen.
we need to
And
get it there.
someday we'll see. And I think like stylistically the game aligns with my skills well. I'm a very strong touch thrower, not top notch athlete potentially, at least by elite club men's ultimate standards.
You're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there.
I believe in
Working
you.
on it,
Yep.
and so I feel like I am well suited for the mixed style of play.
Oh,
But definitely, it does change how you have to think about things. There are hucks you could throw that you were throwing, MMP to MMP would be totally viable, but because there's, a man poaching off the back of the stack,
oh my.
I can't throw that, and that
Yeah.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
Happens
Yeah.
a lot in our mid-tier mixed scene.
You guys are good. You guys are good.
But yeah, we do well every year at regionals,
Yeah.
but not like we're not going to make nationals unless things
Unless you beat
start changing.
hybrid. Yeah.
Yes.
No, it is a little bit of a rough area maybe for
Yeah.
for that.
One
Just,
big region with the best team in the country
yeah, it
doesn't
unfortunately.
really shape up well for upsets.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I know this summer though you're thinking about maybe trying out for other teams, stuff like that. Are you gonna try out for mixed teams? Are you gonna try out for men's teams or both?
Yeah, it's the first time I've been in Chicago for tryouts since I came here, midsummer last 2 years, and Ramp was kind enough to take me on over only one practice tryout my first
Yeah.
year, and then they did let me play as a roster player without any tryout at all last year, which was nice for me.
Yep.
It's all about building reputation. Your network is your net worth.
Yep. So true.
Anyways, so yeah, I'm going to be here for tryouts for the first time. This will be a cool environment. Yeah, trying out for Union, but for the club scene, hopefully we'll try out for Machine. I feel like there's a big drop off in quality of the men's teams after
Haymaker got
Machine.
second though, didn't they?
Hmm?
This test, Haymaker got second.
Haymaker? Yeah.
But the Haymaker Trident switch needs to be studied. I mean, you weren't really here, but like it one summer really changed it all for those two teams. But I think
Yes.
Haymaker is still probably going to be that, other than Machine, that leading men's club team possibly.
Yeah. And then the mixed scene, the Ramp still doing around, be
Mhm.
easy to go back to it.
Yeah.
Good, known, constant parlays out there. That'd be
Yeah, I was
a
gonna say, are you
big
gonna
vibe switch up.
switch to the
Playing
end?
Trader.
Yeah, they might get you. It's okay. Well, a lot of people love to go back and forth between
For sure.
Ramp and Parlay, so
Yeah,
definitely.
it's a fake rivalry at this point.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't think there's any real Chicago. I feel like the Chicago scene is like small enough that I feel like everyone really does know each other, and the teams usually get along pretty well.
Yeah.
I would say. I don't know. You might think differently. Well, how have you been? Sorry, this is not frisbee, but have you been enjoying Chicago? Your first winter here?
Yeah, definitely not loving the winter part. It is mad cold outside, and I
Yeah.
just like put my big coat on, put my head down, and go from point A to point B. But I miss seeing the sun and being able to walk around outdoors.
It's okay. The summer will be back soon.
Exactly, it makes the summer more worth it, right? So everyone's telling me.
Exactly. And we're gonna play Sandblast. That's the one in Chicago.
Hell yeah, and it'll be a blast.
My follow-up questions for everything. This is when I wanted to talk about coaches. So you already talked about your Brown coach that really inspired you. Are there any other specific coaches you can really remember teaching you a lot or inspiring you?
Yeah, I mean, in middle school, Coach Alexi was just like a super positive presence. He tolerated a lot of stupid middle school shenanigans from everyone, and
Yep.
kept us doing drills that made us better, even if they weren't necessarily fun. But also, kept things lively and kept us entertained for 90 minutes after school and playing games. So he was just super influential. He's been a big leader in the Northern Virginia Frisbee scene. He's started the Virginia Vanguard YCC program and has been building out Fairfax Ultimate for almost a decade now. So just he's a huge leader in the area.
I got to see him this summer at YCC's, which was like really, really cool because I
That's
probably
awesome.
haven't seen him in so long. And like for a second, he didn't recognize me, and then he was like, "Oh my gosh!" And we talked a bunch, and we played a not let me see his men's team, not Foggy, but there's another men's team.
Oh, like the U20B team.
Yeah, we played
Jumbo
them.
Slice. No.
No, that's a club team in DC.
I know. Yeah, it's
Wow.
a thing.
I'm forgetting, but
It
we
doesn't,
played,
doesn't really matter.
yeah, we played them and he was there for a little. It was really cool to see him again because I would also, I mean, he's the one who would come up to me in the hallways and be like, "Come to practice, come play," and then he finally got me. So I would also mention him. Any other coaches you can think of though?
For my first 2.5 years at HB High School, the men's varsity team was coached by Ty Adderhold, who
Yep.
has gone on to quit on HB, but has been coaching Scandal
Handle.
for a very long time now. It's kind of funny that he is like moved on to such a prestigious team, but he was a very good coach.
Yeah.
He did just like ghost us entirely once COVID hit, which was really annoying, and I'm still mad about that. If he ever hears this, I don't forgive you, Ty. But he was a really good coach while he was around, which was cool.
And then, did you want to talk any more about your Brown coach, Jake?
Yeah, sure. I think some of the things that make Jake really special is we don't do drills at all at Brown. We
Oh.
run like maybe 1 or 2 drills a year that are like, just like kind of like some foundational learn to play things for the guys who had never played Frisbee before. But everything we do at practice is a game that you keep score. And there are, different constrained rules and, layouts of the field to
Okay.
encourage specific skills. But the philosophy there is when you do a drill, it's really easy to kind of check out and float on through the activity, and you're not in the right headspace to perform that skill in a
Oh.
game necessarily.
I kind of
Or
like
it's
that.
you can practice shooting a free throw by yourself a million times, but then the lights turn on bright and the crowd's roaring, and who knows that you can execute. But if you're in that game mindset at practice, well, then the games aren't scary anymore. It's just like you're at practice, but the guys you're playing against are new faces.
Oh.
And so I think it requires a level of buy-in and competitive culture that can be a little bit hard to manage and doesn't fit every team. But I do think that every team that wants to be elite or is elite should at least experiment with this practice philosophy.
I gotta go text Ricky and Quest like right now and be like, we need to play more games because I kind of like that because yeah, it is very easy to check out in drills. Like I know I've done it 1.5 times.
For sure,
so-
and it's just a natural human response. But if you're keeping a score and the person you're guarding is trash talking you, and it's like suddenly you're like, oh shoot, I care a ton. Let me lock in. Let me work really hard. And so you can anything that you want to drill, you can almost always derive some sort of constrained play game. Maybe you want to work on sideline resets instead of doing a drill with a bunch of people cycling through a line. You're playing 3v3 mini in a very small space, and you can do fun things with the cones to create dead zones or change the scoring system. We'll play games that are like 10 minutes and you can score 1 point or 5 points or 17 points or -6 points depending on how things go on the field. And
Wow.
you can encourage all sorts of interesting play styles based on how you set up these games, but never drills.
Wow, that's really interesting. Okay. I like that. I've never heard of a team doing that. This is Brown's secret.
Yeah, we've talked about it before publicly, so hopefully I'm not doxing anything too secretive, but yeah, I think he got a lot of that idea from soccer coaching philosophies. He listens to a lot of soccer coaching podcasts, and
Oh,
soccer is, in many ways, is like frisbee if you zoom out enough. Of it really is just like a bunch of people in space trying to maximize the value they can create for the offense in that space.
yeah. I mean, a lot of soccer to frisbee pipeline. I guess I'm kind of one of them, but
For
there's
sure.
definitely a lot. Okay, so last coaching question, then I have just two final like fun questions, then we'll finish up. But would you ever coach? Have you thought about it?
Yes, I would enjoy coaching. I would probably coach high school, maybe college. I need to get a
Okay.
car first, probably, if I'm gonna
Yeah,
coach here.
true.
Nothing's really super convenient to me
Paul
unless I
is
want to
close.
coach DePaul, but they already got Conrad
Yeah, and Joel for the
and
and
Joel.
Annie
Yeah,
for
so
the team.
they're stocked up. But yeah, coaching is fun. I enjoyed being a camp counselor with you.
Yeah,
That was a good
it is
time.
fun. It is fun, definitely. Well, okay, so for my fun questions, I already asked you this one. Have you thought of your frisbee hot take?
Yes, my frisbee hot take is that every single on-field timeout is terrible, and it was a grave mistake.
Okay, I feel like I've heard you say this before. Do you have any more
Yeah.
context for that?
Yes. So, first of all, timeouts is a very scarce resource. You have 3 or 4 for the entire game, and you can only call them when you're on offense. When you're on offense, already in frisbee, you have a huge advantage that you control play entirely. The defense is forced to respond to you. If you want to slow down, you can slow down. If you want to go faster, you can go faster. When you call a timeout, you lose a ton of agency, really, right? So you're forced to set up in some fixed position after the timeout, and the defense can respond to you and set however they want, and they get time to talk about it and make small adjustments. And so you've stopped play, you've lost any sort of momentum that you have by being on offense. You, under the current rule set, don't get to make substitutions, which is stupid, and USA should change that. That's part of my take is that the timeout rules are bad, and
Okay,
you should be able to substitute probably everyone, like UFA style.
like UFA. I don't really see why not. That makes sense to me.
But
I
anyways, yeah,
like that.
people calling timeouts makes me super mad. I promise you that you can complete a reset somewhere on the field and get to a more advantageous position, and you will have a higher chance of scoring in that possession than if you call a timeout and you get forced to get set up against.
Okay, we'll have to ask the people if they agree or disagree.
Yeah, I should run the numbers on that, but
That's a good one. Okay,
I hate it.
question. My last question, which Renee actually thought of, is what would be your dream line? So 7 players, doesn't matter, WMP, MMP, no ratio, whatever. You got to be one, so I guess you get to pick 6 other players that would be dream line.
Are these like frisbee celebrities or like people I've played with before?
I mean, you can pick anybody. So if there's like a frisbee player you've always wanted to play with, but also if like, you really like playing with your friend, whoever, put him on the line.
Cool. Fun question. I think we got to throw Marquez Brownlee on the line just for the YouTube clout. That's fun. Maybe I'll be in the background of some video.
Yeah, of him doing some crazy
And also,
highlights.
he's a great player, super
Yeah.
strong puller. He's played at a super elite level for a decade now, represented Team USA. I do think he was on Team USA only because he's famous, and I'm not sure he deserved to be there.
What
He's a
about
very
now?
good player, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure he's one of the 20 best players in the country.
Interesting.
But he's on my line for the clout alone.
So you're doing the same thing.
Definitely, yeah. I'm not faulting USAU. I would do it too. It's good for the sport.
Yeah.
Just
No,
let
definitely.
it be known.
Okay, who else?
Who else? I'm throwing out meter at the front court, Ella Jungst. Unstoppable goal scoring machine,
Yep.
Arlington legend. Never talked to her probably in my life, honestly. But she seems cool. Her dad knows my dad from Eula.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I do. One of my frisbee fun facts is like, I played with Ellie Jungst in 9th grade. I don't think we also either exchanged very many words, even though we were on the same team, but we were both there. Okay, who else?
Good question.
Sorry, I didn't give
Who
you
else am I
any prep
putting
time for
on the
this.
line?
I have 4 more.
Give me my boy from college, Cal Nightingale, who led nationals in goals scored our championship year.
Wow. That's
And he played
impressive.
in the final with a broken foot.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Just pop some Advil and sheer adrenaline.
Jeez. Wow.
And then the next day, we pushed him around town in a shopping cart because he could not walk.
Yeah, I mean, college nationals, you kind of gotta.
But
I,
you
I
gotta do
understand
it.
it. You just gotta do it. Like
But
finals.
yeah, great
Yeah.
guy, really underrated thrower, is really good at reading space and knowing when to get open, and just cares a ton. Really like a top tier competitor, hard on his sleeve kind of guy.
Awesome.
And he hates UNC with a burning passion.
Well, if you guys play UNC, oh,
Exactly, he'll destroy them. Who else do I want? I'm gonna go to Ultiverse right now. I should have prepped this question in advance.
sorry. I thought it'd be more fun
But this is a good question.
on the spot, but maybe I should tell future people in advance. You think?
Who else?
Any
do
Arlington
I?
player? I mean, I guess you said LU's, but
I'm gonna go with a crazy pull. A guy who I played against one time a while ago, which is Dan Riddler, who is now he was on Oregon for a while. He plays on Revolver now. He had a sick block against Henry Ing. You probably saw the highlight of he lays out like this and essentially
Oh,
skies
yeah.
Henry Ing in the semi. And it was my sophomore year. We were playing Oregon, some spring tournament, and I was guarding him for the whole game. He was just a super friendly guy, and he wasn't all that good, and now he's a mainstay on the Revolver D line. Gets sick blocks, and I just remember him being a really nice guy to guard, and I didn't really interact with a lot of people I played against in college for the most part, but he was super nice to play against, and I think he'd be a great teammate.
Yeah, you always gotta appreciate a nice person on the other team.
Exactly.
Makes
Few
the
and
game
far
a little.
between in college men's.
Yeah, I'm sure. A few more in women's, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, let's try and get some more DC picks.
Yeah, you got 2 left.
Throw out Aaron Bartlett,
Okay.
who
Where is he
DC
playing? Oh, he's playing for Hybrid.
yeah, he's played for Hybrid. He's I think offensive player of the year for mixed division.
Yeah,
He is just sweeping up these Ulti World
he's
awards.
great. Yeah,
Super talented
definitely.
player, just great throwing bag. One of the best throw and go players I've ever seen. He's just really good at just getting out ahead of you and running some sort of dribble or counter move off that. And he's a good athlete. He can make tough catches, get open out of anywhere on the field, and he was a nice teammate when we played together for YCCs, and everyone who's played with him in Wilson and Michigan thinks highly of him.
Okay, you got 1 left. I think, if I'm counting correctly.
Yeah, give me one more. I'm trying to think of someone from Ramp who I should put on the team.
Ramp? Okay. Yeah, we got to get a Chicago person, I guess.
Exactly. Give me Manwa from Ramp.
Okay, good pick. I was gonna
She
say you need
is
another
yeah,
WMP.
more WMP. Top tier inside flick game. She is
Yep.
a absolute sniper on
So
those.
fast.
She's so fast. Upline merchant.
I hated guarding her.
Yeah,
Like,
she just
please.
will outrun everyone
Yeah.
for resets, which is just a great burst from standing still to she beat you by 3 steps.
Yep.
And she was captain for Ramp this last year, which is exciting
Oh.
for her. She did a really good
That's
job.
good. Yeah.
And we she couldn't come to regionals because there was a wedding or something,
Oh, his
and
wedding.
it was a huge loss for our entire D line.
Oh, yeah.
She's a great player to play with.
Awesome. Okay, that seems like a good line. Sorry for really throwing that question
No, that's
at
fun.
you.
I should have that already built out in my mind at any point in time.
Well, next time. Next time I'll ask I'll ask in 2 weeks, and
Okay,
hopefully
I
it'll
give
be
you
good.
an honorable mention. I just thought one more.
Sure, honorable
I'm gonna play
mention.
with Rowan McDonald.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, he's great. See,
Just
no, he
like
switched
super
to
friendly DC legend, just like one of the
yeah.
premier ambassadors of Ultimate for our generation.
He didn't play for Truck Stop last year though. He
He played for Dig in Boston. He's
did.
moved to Connecticut.
Oh, he moved. Okay, well that makes sense.
He's from New England originally and was only down in DC for a few years, actually.
Okay. Okay, well, those are all the questions I had for you, and thank you
Awesome.
so much.
That
I
was really
hope you
fun.
enjoyed.
Definitely.
Caleb Moran again, everyone.
Thanks for having me,
Um,
Ellie Chloe.
yes, hopefully I'm gonna interview Renee next week, and that'll be our next one.
Let's
Okay,
go.
well, I'm gonna
Where
stop
could we
the
watch
recording.
these the next ones? Where we should stay
Oh,
tuned.
yeah, this is gonna be on YouTube and then Spotify.
Let's
I
go.
have not,
All right.
I don't have the willpower to figure out anything else.
Nice. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.